Can I really turn a book into $1 million? Well, I found a handful of YouTube tutorials and blog posts claiming to teach authors how to earn $1 million from their books. I'll be testing out some of these theories step by step. No guarantees, just an adventure. Will it work? And I want to report to you that from last week until now, nothing has changed. So I'm going to call that SEO theory a debunk. Obviously, there is more that has to go into promoting your book than just having strong SEOs. One of the things that I'm also seeing online, I see a lot of YouTube videos, blog posts, all over the internet. People are saying, and I know this to be true, that you have to have a really good cover for your book. And the reason I know that that is true is because I actually teach you in my course about having a good cover and what an appropriate cover for an appropriate book would be. For example, if you're going to sell a Western style novel, a Western novel, then you need a Western style cover. Or if it's a romance novel and somebody looks at it and it doesn't look like it's a romance novel, they may not read it. Well, my latest book, simply called A Book, does not have a great cover. I know, I'm a little ashamed of that. But let me explain to you. This is the cover that it currently has. This is my book called A Book. I realize that at first glance you have no idea what's in this book, but this was written for a specific reason. You can find out all of the details on the back of the book. I wrote this book so that when you are on a plane or train or in a coffee shop and somebody says to you, "Oh, what are you reading?" you can confidently say, "A book." And it is all about my writing journey, how I became a 10-time published author, and I help people who want to become published authors through this book. So I struggled with what to put on the cover, what color scheme to go with, etc., etc. And I chose this because this was the branding of my podcast. These were my branding colors, and the book sort of follows along with some of the things that are on my podcast. And I thought it made sense at the time. But when I got the book back and it was all published, I absolutely could not stand that cover. And believe me, I really did deliberate ahead of time. I even asked people which cover they would prefer, and I gave them some choices, and that was the one they preferred. But after getting it back, it is just not resonating with what this book really has to offer. So I am going to take all of the suggestions that I have been hearing, including my own, from my own course, and change the cover of the book. So I'm going to take you over to the back end of my KDP account, and we are going to take a look now. All right, here we are on the back end of my KDP, and I've already opened up this book. And I am going to change, I've already created a brand new cover. By the way, I did that in Canva. If you're not familiar with Canva, I'm not going to bore you with the details of that. All right, as I was saying, if you are not familiar with Canva, there are plenty of places that you can go on YouTube, online, all over, that will give you some wonderful tutorials on how to use KDP to make your book cover. It's super easy, super intuitive. I'm not going to do a tutorial on Canva. I'm not even going to show you how to create. You can use AI if you want to create your cover. We're not going to do that. I've already created a new cover. And right now, I just want to go ahead and show you the new cover that I am going to try to test out. And we'll see if this helps with my sales at all. All right, this is the new cover. Now remember, if you can see, this is what the cover looks like now. And this is the new cover that I have created. I've already uploaded it to my Kindle book. What I want to do now is go and edit my paperback so that the covers match. Get rid of some boxes here. And right down here on your back end of KDP, there is a launch cover creator. See, it shows me what my current cover is and what the back cover is, but I want to do a new one. Now, there are several ways that you can create your cover. One way would be to go into any of your AI programs like, ChatGPT is the one that comes to mind most. Give it the dimensions of your book. Is it a 6x9? How many pages does it have? Is it bleed or no bleed? These are terms you'll have to look up. We're not going to go into right now. And ask it to give you the correct dimensions to make a cover in Canva. Or you can simply go to Canva and use their ebook template, which is what I have done today. Now we're going to click or edit to change this image. I want to remove this image. So in order to do that, I'm just going to choose a new cover design. Now I have this one on my computer, and we're going to replace the old one with the new one. You see that? All right. Now, one of the things that I wanted to do, let's go ahead and preview this. It's going to give me a preview of my cover. It takes just a minute. One of the things that I wanted for this particular book was for it to be simple. And this is certainly simple. It gets my message across the way I wanted to, but at least this time I have some kind of a graphic. This is a drastic change from this to what you see on the screen now. So from this to this is a pretty big change. Okay, let's go ahead and save this and submit it. We'll save and submit, and it might take a few minutes for it to do its little thing, its magic. And then KDP is going to tell me that I need to approve all of these changes. AI did not make this. I uploaded my own cover successfully. It's processing. Now we're going to continue saving and continuing. All right, so this is what now that I've gotten it into preview mode, this is what the cover will look like. And of course, in Kindle, it lets you browse through the pages of your book. So you can always do that. I have no reason to, because I didn't actually change the contents of my book. The only thing that I changed today, and so I'll go ahead and approve it, was the cover. All right, I've approved my book. And now it's going to ask me about the pricing. But I'm not changing anything with the pricing. Remember, I am only changing the cover. It's going to publish my paperback book all over again, this time with the new cover. Now, we're done. And it won't show up in both places. You can see some of my other books here. Like, it only shows you the picture once of your book. And usually if you have an ebook, it's going to show you the ebook cover. I know that I changed the ebook earlier today, and that has already been approved. That's almost completely instant because they don't have to check it against their printer. There's nothing being printed. So that was an instant change. This one, I may have to wait on for a little bit before the new cover gets established with them. But that is all that you have to do in order to change the cover of your book. Now, will changing the cover of my book actually help me generate more sales or not? We'll see. I'm not one of these people who is brave enough to think that the only thing you have to do is change your SEOs or change your book cover in order to sell books. I know that there is a whole lot more to it. But these are little tips and tricks that I keep seeing all across the internet in order to sort of help me move this needle along on making $1 million selling my books. So remember, I'm going from this book cover to the new one right here. I will share my screen with you so that you can see it again. Let me get there for you. To this book cover right here. So from this to this, from this to this, and it is a drastic difference. I don't know if it's going to work. I want to tell you that there are other things that are important when you are making your book cover. You definitely want to consider, like I said earlier, the genre of your book. Is your text easy to read? In the course that I teach, you'll find out there's a whole formula for coming up with book titles, and I believe strongly that book titles are very important to a book. In fact, I've been asked to write blog articles for other people about book titles simply based on the fact that some of my books, not all of them, but some of my books do have very good titles. My first book, very first book I ever wrote, was called A Squirrel Peed on Me. Well, that's somewhat intriguing, isn't it? I have to tell you, though, the contents of my first book were garbage. It wasn't a good book, but I did have a catchy title, and so I actually sold quite a few of those. There's a formula, like I said, and we could spend a whole video getting into all of that, making sure that your book is readable. I didn't feel like, I'm talking about from the cover, your book cover is readable. I didn't feel necessarily like the book cover that I previously had was very catchy. It was bold, but it was also really off-centered, right? It's a picture of a book, but it's tilted and I couldn't get it straight. And I finally decided this cover just doesn't work. I think too many times people are really afraid when they get ready to publish a book that they might make a mistake. And I like to be transparent and let you know that I have made every mistake there is known to be made when it comes to publishing my book. And if I can publish 10 books and be successful at that, then anybody can. Just remember, it doesn't matter what mistakes you make. You can always undo them. Now, I will tell you, if you already have 10 or 20,000 readers for your books, maybe making some of those changes now isn't a good time. But if you can make some of the changes early on when you're first publishing your book, then by all means, go make them because they will only help your sales down the road. I am no expert at making book covers, but I am an expert at making mistakes and fixing them. So I've been on this journey, like I said, to see if any of the things that I'm hearing on the internet, change your book cover, change your SEOs, and so many other things that I need to dive into will actually help me with my book sales. Will this theory need to be debunked? I don't know. And was it fair of me to debunk the SEO theory? Oh, probably not. Because like I said, just changing your SEOs is not necessarily going to be what sells your book. There are certainly other components to that. But I would encourage you to pay attention to your book cover. Use Canva, use AI, and if all else fails, last but not least, find somebody for a nominal fee, go to Fiverr or someplace like that to make your cover for you. All right, well, that's all I have today. And when we come back next week, we'll find out if changing my cover actually made a difference or not. If you're interested in writing, publishing, formatting your own book, etc., and you want to do that and have that accomplishment, check out my course in the description below. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.